Welcome to your OC Sucks, the weekly podcast where we review and critique the best and the worst fan-created original characters from the My Little Pony Fandom. This show is unscripted and unfiltered, so moderate language will be used. As well, the show can be a little heavy on the critique at times. That being said, if you are easily offended, do not watch. If not, feel free to join us for this week's show. This is episode 82 for October 9th, 2015. This week, we have a special guest whose popularity is really heating up with his art style that's like a blast of caffeine. My name is Modified Thunderbirds. I am the host and show manager. I am joined by...
Commander Sparkle, Assistant Project Manager.
Medi Bobo, I'm in charge of gathering questions and view interaction.
Our guest this week is an old friend of ours from being a bunch of bright-eyed fillies watching the Cutie Art Crusaders back on Everfree Network. Since then, our friendship with this artist has been heating up, much like his talent with the digital brush. You may have seen him at his booth at many conventions, wildly gesturing with his hands, while also talking about his next crazy idea for an art piece. This week, we welcome to the show Mr. Best Artist in the Fandom himself, Ardail.
But I'm not best artist in the fandom.
Shut up, bitch!
But hi, guys. What's up?
Shut up, it's a running joke! What? Just slap you.
Sales!
It's an abusive relationship, guys. It's okay.
Also, Mama, did you say caffee?
Caffee? Do you...
Caffeine? It sounded like you said caffee.
So being a special guest on our show, we always like to talk to somebody, our special guest, about their OCs and how they got started. So, Ardail, why don't you tell us a little bit about the OC and what went into the creative process of making it?
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a very long... I held off of drawing an OC for quite a while just because, one, I didn't really want to get into doing the whole OC culture thing of, like, making an OC and competing with that. Two, because then I could actually figure out how to draw things before trying to actually draw something, like trying to come up with a character. I could test run this a little bit with other characters first, and then when I finally came up with my own OC, I kind of had a lot more experience. Because there's a lot of people who make an OC at first, and then they always rehash it later, like after like a year or two. They're like, I don't like this design. I need to redo it. It's just not that
Change
good.
their color schemes from a dark blue to a light blue?
There's no need to lie to the audience. Obviously, you just watched our show and went off of all of our standards.
Exactly. There we go.
Over.
That's exactly what happened.
And we just yelled at you until you made an OC.
Actually, it's a combination. The character itself was just a combination of a bunch of other characters I liked to draw, or like a gender bent version of a pony of a friend of mine. I mean, I had a lot of fun drawing her, so I took a lot of influence from that pony.
So, by the way, your OC is called like what, Mocha Coffee or Mocha?
Mocha Latte.
Mocha Latte. Gotcha.
See, that's actually, well, one thing, my last name is Coffee. My actual last name is Coffee, so Coffey. It's an Irish name.
So yes, people go and stalk him on the...
Please
There's
do.
quite a few copies out there. Apparently, it's kind of weird. But
Apparently.
There's one on every
So-
corner.
but I knew I had to do a coffee horse if I was going to make my own personal OC, so I had to do that. See, everything I designed about this pony was specifically so it was fun to draw. Because when you want to make your own personal OC, you don't want it to be like, I have to go draw my OC again. This is such a pain in the ass.
Oh God, why do I have to
I know,
do
it's
this?
like if you're dreading something about your OC, about your own personal Pony Sona OC or whatever, then that...
You're doing
exactly.
it wrong.
If you could just be like, I'm just going to draw my OC because kicks and giggles, why not? And so everybody else who seems to draw her is like, man, she's so much fun to draw.
Rolling right along into the dice roll, Ardail, we have a tradition here on the show that when we have a special guest, we give them either the option of being thrown into the die of fate at random and just seeing what happens from it, or you have the lovely option of going first to talk about your good OC. So which would you prefer?
You know what? I'll go first. Why not?
Cool. Sweet. So, Ardail, tell us all about your good OC this week.
Okay, so this is Irony by 8-Bit Army.
8-Bit Amy.
At first, looking through the folder, I was just trying to look for ponies that just kind of appeal to me artistically, and then look at it a little bit more. So artistically, it looks pretty cool. I like the hairstyle's simplistic, but at the same time, it has quite a bit of personality to it. It is what, like they said, it's supposed to be looking like it's photo finishes hair. Do you guys want me to read the bio at all?
Give us a summation of what it says.
Yeah, try to take all that info and condense it into
quite a bit of bio.
small.
So
amount.
one thing I really like about this pony is that the character design does carry across quite a bit of its own personality. So as an artist, I like to look at OCs and be like, okay, I can put a personality to that. I could enjoy drawing, expressions with that face or putting on a few different accessories. And it's like there's not an overabundance of accessories, but it fits the style of the pony, because this is a jewelry maker pony. So it's just like these little pieces of like gold leaflets, like Roman what's it called? A wire laurel, a laurel crown.
Yes,
that's what it is. that's what it is. I mean, it's simple, but it's enough that it gives her quite a bit of personality as, like, you know, accessories go. I mean, the background story is kind of interesting too. Like, the character, her name is Irony, you know, because she works with metal, but at the same time, her character, like, personality is kind of ironic because, let's see here. She's like a very, inwardly, she's very kind and gentle and whatnot. She tries to be, but from the description you're giving her, it sounds like she's, if her comments are offensive or inappropriate, she deeply enjoys the company of others and is tolerant and accepting of most. But she doesn't know how to socially talk with people, so I can kind of relate with that. It's just kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, reading through this, it's like it's hard for her to notice or identify sarcasm. Is very blunt about things. I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it gives her very realistic personality. It's not like, oh, I'm this some knight and I go and fight off all the dragons and whatnot. No, she seems very much like an actual person. Like, I could see this person walking down the street and meeting them in real life. But yeah, I really, really enjoy the color scheme. It's it's just two-tone color, so nothing too complicated, but it still works with each other, doesn't clash. The gold accents do accentuate the colors as well with the color scheme, so it all fits within that color palette. She got her cutie mark from when she was going to get her mom a Mother's Day present, but she couldn't afford the present she wanted to get, so she just got some wire and some flowers and put together something really quick. And when she made it for her mom and gave it to her, her mom was so excited about it and loved it so much that that's where she realized that's when I want to make jewelry all the time and work with metal. And then later in life, she goes and moves on to working for the Royal Armory. And apparently, according to the background story, it gives her kind of a cool little a short story about how, like, she was having a hard time working with actual armor because it's just these big, huge plate metal. And then she goes back through and eventually just works on her own design, making chainmail instead. And that just works out way better.
It's pretty cool. I actually really like that Cutie Mark story.
It's kind of cool. I know. It's like...
It seems realistic, kind of down to earth. Like,
it's not over the top.
I think whoa. And I like that it sort of I think it shows the one that she made for her mother.
Yeah, in the picture it shows what in the so picture. We actually know what it looks like. Like, oh, okay, that was what it was.
I think that I really like that.
I do too. I do like character reference sheets that do give a little bit more give a couple personality, facial expressions to it. Like, you can see on the right side, she's giving this like quizzical looking face, and then the other side is like her serious face.
And then it's sort of almost like an infatuated face, and then a show style. So it's a pretty good show style too.
Which is the same as when Mummified brought in his last piece.
As a character reference sheet, I mean, if I was given this and someone said, draw this for me, I would be able to get a good idea of what I would need to draw from this character reference sheet as an artist, because I could definitely tell, okay, so her personality comes across as being like this, because I can obviously see these are kind of how her face looks whenever she's, doing certain things.
Yes.
It just paints a better visual for me to be able to, if I was to ever do art for this person, for this character.
I really like the color palette. It's very like you were sort of saying how it's like that two-tone simple. I like how the green in the eyes really like balance or like contrasts the like kind of maroon. Would you say in the
She's
hair?
kind of, I thought it was yellowish green eyes.
They might be a yellow
like
green.
An
well,
olive?
it's some form of
like
green.
an olive almost.
Yeah, kind of like an olive green. But I love how the way that those two colors like they contrast themselves like in a very like appealing way. Which, I mean, then their colors like it's the general colors like I see a bunch, but like I don't see it like that all the time, and I really like it. I really that dog.
Yeah,
I don't know what the dog is.
I love that dog.
They don't mention what the dog. I'm pretty sure it's like a family pet, but they don't mention what it is. It's just adorable little dog in there.
It is. I mean, because all I really see is that like Irony has a soft spot for small and cute animals,
which
which I mean,
put that in there.
That is a small and freaking adorable
that is a
dog.
small and adorable animal. So
I really artistically caught my eye. It has good colors to it, and it's simple, but yet it has enough detail to it that makes it distinctive.
That was wonderful, Ardail. Thank you very much for bringing that one on. So, we are going to go to the die of fate to figure out who gets to go next. So, that rolled a 4, so that would have been Ardail. That rolled a 3, so we get to take a look at Mitty Bobo.
This is Lullaby by Silverboy. Well, Lullaby is, if she looks familiar at all, it's because she's related to an OC I've had on before. She is Spooks' younger sister. And, unlike Spooks, she doesn't have a cutie mark. She also has the nickname of Abby, and that is the nickname used mostly in this character sheet. She is a blank flank, yes, but unlike some of her classmates, she doesn't really care. She's like, I don't fucking care. I mean, I like music. Sometimes I'll do music. I seem to be talented at music, but I haven't done that thing yet. But I don't care. And that attitude, it carries on to her character a little bit. She has a very, she is very, as they list for her personality trait, she is neutral, complex, reserved, bland. Is that bland?
Yeah, that's what that says.
My eyes were saying blend.
Blend. Well, blend.
Creative,
I was gonna say the letters blended together. Whoa!
creative, judgmental, and introverted. And I like the combination of introverted and judgmental because I can totally get behind that.
Complex, bland. Little bit confused on that. Is maybe that. I don't know.
This is another case of listing character traits as your personalities, and I don't. And I mean, like when you're looking over it, maybe when you're making the character, you don't realize the collision of complex and bland, where it's like I'm complex, but I'm also bland.
If you explained it, like with like more words, it might make more sense. But just from like bulleted lists, it's like those are what?
Those are kind of different. She also admires her older sister, Spooks, and she is very proud to be related to her. They list that she does have a cutie mark story, but the character right now hasn't experienced that, but they have a plan for it in the future because Silverboy is still working on it right now. It's basically when she gets her cutie mark is when she helps Spooks in a performance by providing Spooks with some music that she wrote. And I think that's really cute because it does list earlier that she is talented in music and she likes her sister. Combine those two things together and maybe you get a cutie mark. And I mean, it's also not something huge. It's not like, oh, and then I wrote music for this grand opera.
And then I wrote music that saved the world.
And then I wrote the script for the fourth Equestrian Girls movie.
And then we won the prom.
Another thing they mention is that Spooks and Lullaby both have their natural hair is very straight. Just Spooks is really shitty at hair maintenance, where Lullaby is a lot more calm. Yeah, a lot more much better at maintaining your hair. But she also has a list
well
of
kept.
Yeah, she also has a list of other things. She has a love for candles, the color pink. She really wishes she could make friends like her sister, but she also finds making friends really hard. And her favorite instrument is a viola.
Viola.
And also viola. I don't know. Anyways, besides all that, that kind of sums up her character really. She's not super like important to some huge plot. She's just kind of like the sister of a character I brought on before that I thought was super cute, and I thought the character story and stuff was also kind of cute, and I really liked how you have a plan for a cutie mark even though you have a character who's a blank flank. We get so many characters submitted to us who are blank flanks, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck the cutie mark's gonna be. Making up a cutie mark is hard. Maybe he gets mad every time I make a bad cutie mark, and maybe he gets really happy when I make a good cutie mark. Hey, I have a pre-planning for an okay cutie mark.
The aesthetics on her are very, very kawaii. Death. I do see quite a bit of anime influence in the character design, which is not a bad thing. It's just I can see the influence.
Yeah, I really enjoy Silverboy's style. All the characters have a very similar. Yeah, he has a really cute style, and I also can see, like, just looking at them, I can see the relation of Spooks and a Lullaby.
Yes.
They have a very similar look. In fact, when I originally saw Lullaby, I thought it was Spooks as a younger filly. and I was like, oh yeah, she had a sister. I really like her very gray, but then like her pinkish, purplish eyes really attract your attention.
They do. The glasses also do too. Like the
yes,
and because
those are fucking huge. Holy
well,
shit!
yeah, it's very anime glasses. That's what I'm saying. It's very anime influenced with like the massive, huge glasses.
Draws you to her face.
Pony's cute. Look at those eyebrows.
Yeah, I like this person's style. It's very simplistic, but it also has that very like almost chibi-ish, but it's their own unique idea of chibi. Like a lot of people just do like shorter limbs and whatnot, but like the face itself just looks like it's chubby, but at the same time it's not.
Yeah, it's that kind. I know that's that kind of style, but then just put on a normal pony.
Yeah, I really enjoy this.
I like the freckles.
Yes, freckles are very. I do enjoy freckles.
They're cute.
Very moe.
Oh God. Get this fucking weeby trash out of here! Oh my God.
But this art style is so weeby trash. Are you kidding me?
I know. I love Silver Boy.
I mean, like, I think this art style is super adorable. I think this character has a really cute story, and I'm still, again, I emphasize, I really like the fact that she has a cutie mark story, even though she's blank fling, and I fucking love that because it means you're thinking ahead of things. Thinking ahead of schedule. Fucking ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game. Super cool. Wonderful. Moving on to the next OC. Let's see. It rolled 4 games. No, 3, 2. We're going reverse order today.
Wow. First order.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so Commander, tell us all about your OC.
Okie dokes. The OC that I brought this week is Tiny Hue, by Tiny Owl. Yes.
Okay.
This is like Tiny Hue is like partially their like Pony Sona because like a lot of things are based off of the actual artist, but is also just her own character. So it's like a little bit of a mixture of the two main types of OC like characters that we see. Which I like that it's not just literally exactly them because I mean we see that all the time. Yeah. But they're like average height or there's a slightly smaller pony, but like average age of like the main 6 that general thing, and they're like a sort of like friendly and like nice pony, but who's like somewhat reserved. But once like they actually get a friend group, they actually turn out to be a pretty eccentric kind of like over the top expressions and stuff like that kind of person or pony. Even though she is sort of this like sort of shy, reserved pony, though if like somebody's like being a dick about something or doing something she disagrees with, she like stands her ground and like, but like doesn't try, like if they're being rude to her, she tries to not take it like what they're saying too like personally, because you can't, if you take everything too personally, you just end up having a bad time. So she seems to have a pretty good grasp on, even though she's not good at social situations, she's good at like how she handles herself like internally in like different social situations, which I like. And that's like not just the generic like oh, they're introverted and they got picked on, so they are now edgy and like everything's hard for them in life. It's just they just sort of deal with it and move on with their life. I like that.
Yeah, it's just a part of life.
Yeah, it is. So for her like talented stuff, as you could have guessed from both the from like looking at the cutie mark and the like thing, Tani is an artist. But that's not her main job though. She does that on the side and is working to being like an artist as like an actual way of life. But she actually is also a waitress at a cafe trying to like have an actual income because being an artist doesn't really make a lot of money.
Freckles. I like freckles.
I guess. Freckles. Again, freckles are adorable. She also has
She has butt freckles.
That is adorable.
I like the little fluffy bits on the hooves. I kind of like that once in a while. I don't like that on every single pony per se.
Yeah, the fetlocks. It's a thing that we've touched on many, many times, and most of the time, if it is a female pony, I do not like fetlocks. But they don't clash too bad here. They're actually pretty decent.
It depends on the pony.
Like them if this was just I definitely wouldn't like this if this was show style, but I guess.
Yeah, it definitely it works really well with this person's style, but I kind of agree that when it's show style,
there's just certain characters I couldn't imagine it with as well. Like the character I shared on up Irony, I wouldn't draw her with fetlocks like that.
No, definitely. I mean, yeah, if it's a very masculine styled or female OC or something like that, then
it just depends. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it just doesn't look right. It just clashes too much.
It's a very case by case.
Exactly.
Very case by case. If you didn't notice, she's not a unicorn. She's a Pegasus, and because of that, it's kind of really hard to grab things with hooves. Like, I mean, somehow ponies are able to do it in the show.
It's magic.
We don't understand how that works. I just say it's innate pony magic or something. But regardless, this pony gets around it is like, well, drawing actually with my hoof, it would be trying to hold a pen in my hoof somehow. That'd be really hard. So she made herself a little drawing tool, like hoof wrist thing. When you have like Earth Pony or Pegasi, like artists, I'm like, so do they use their mouth? Do they use their hoof? I've seen ponies write with both. More with mouths than hooves, honestly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of with mouths
I mean, like, if you're able to, I mean, there are people who can draw with their mouths and stuff like that, and good on them. That's really fucking hard, though.
You know what? I think the coolest, or at least one of the most distinctive, unique ideas of how a pony draws or paints is Jessie's palette swap, where she uses her tail.
I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple like that, and that also can be really, really good if done
properly. Yes, every time it's always with that suffix of "if done properly."
Yeah,
with everything.
Pretty much any idea can work
if done properly.
If you do it right.
Exactly.
If you do it right.
Welcome to the show where, if done properly, nothing will go wrong.
But anyways, back to the character. She got her cutie mark, which though one thing I find interesting about the cutie mark is that it seems like she predominantly uses like pens or stuff. At least that's what I would get from what she's doing. I guess maybe not. She got that from when she finally like mastered the ability to like actually like draw and paint using her hooves. Like when she like made, like it doesn't say like the specific thing, but when she like drew that like or painted that like first thing where she like wowed herself, and she was like literally she was shocked. She was like, "What?
Huh?
What?
How?
I did that?"
I made a thing.
If you noticed, her wings are also they're slightly different colors, which normally I'm kind of iffy on that. It's not a thing that I normally like. Again, it's usually when it's done in show style, it's harder. But I think like with the way that the style looks and how they draw the wings, I actually really like it because the colors all just fit like really well. Though it's a little bit weird that there's the one that is the lighter that is only on that single one and isn't on the other side.
It's messy with your symmetry in your head, but honestly,
I know, it really
if you have to
does.
look at actual people and actual things in real life, there's blemishes on either side. Like horses have painted horses. They have really weird patterns on one side of the body, but the other side has completely different patterns. So it's like
it just bugs me.
Actual animals, it's true, they do have different blemishes and whatnot. It's just that when you're looking at things, your brain naturally wants to create symmetry in things. It just naturally wants to create things where they're symmetrical. Otherwise, it starts screwing with you, and you get all like, "What the heck?"
Yeah. She does touch on it and say how it's kind of like a birthmark.
Yeah, basically, which is completely fine.
For the aesthetics, I really like the like nice, like mostly kind of not quite monochromatic, but very analogous of all these different browns, and then the kind of more reddish brown in the hair and mane and tail, and then contrasted with those like really blue eyes. I love how those like come off and like pop out of there, and I think it just draws you that adorable looking face with all those freckles, and it's cute and also earring, and it's adorable.
Cool. Well then, we're gonna have to move on to the last good OC of the night, which would be my OC that I brought on. So I brought on Clara Shines by Zulala. Clara Shines is obviously female. She lives in Ponyville, and she lives in an AU, which will become apparent very quickly. Clara used to live in Ponyville with her sister Moonglimmer. She worked as a makeup artist who worked with, like, things and putting makeup on people, doing the makeup thing. They don't necessarily go into too much detail about her job, or her old job, that is. But what they do go into detail is the fact that Clara started getting really sick, like debilitating, hey, you're not gonna last long, you're quickly dying kind of sick. Well, Moon Glimmer Moon Glimmer started being like, not my sister. Moon Glimmer is also a unicorn, by the way, so she used all of her sciencey magical abilities to try to figure out some way to cure her sister Clara. But Moon was quickly running out of options, resources, and time, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I can't save my sister. I just can't do it. So she was at, like, her last hope before she saw, like, this big red flash outside her window. And then she looked out the window, and who was there sitting outside of her window but Philomena, Celestia's pet phoenix. And that's when inspiration, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, divine intervention came into her head, and she was like, I got it! So she plucked one of Philomena's feathers and started brewing up a potion out of it, and tried, finding a cure that way. And she fed her sister this potion, and after she did, she burst into flames and died. And her Clara vanished and died, and Moon's like, what the fuck have I done? Shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? Am I going to explain this to Mom and Dad? Fucking... But then all of a sudden, she came back, and now she's a Ponix. A Phoenix hybrid bird, or Phoenix hybrid pony. Now, this may not be the most well-rounded story, I feel, but I'm kind of taking this from an aspect of, like, a sort of superhero origin story.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, that's the vibe I'm getting sort of from it, and I think if they played into it, I think it would be, like, amazing, but sadly, no. Moon Glimmer, after all this happened, kind of lost her ability to do magic because of this potion for some stupid reason. And Clara now doesn't have a cutie mark anymore. She still is able to do some makeup, but not to the extent of her abilities beforehand. So she kind of lost herself, sort of, but some of her, like, personality and techniques and whatnot still remain. She still, like, knows herself and what she used to be, but now she's a little bit more clumsier, mostly because of the fact that she's now a giant fucking phoenix bird thing, and she's
a bird!
Yeah, she's got giant-ass wings that, like, out.
Technically immortal.
Yeah, technically.
It's a very unique concept, I will say that. I've never seen anyone try doing something like that before. It feels like a fanfiction that could go either way. I feel like it's right there on the tipping point of being either it could be pretty cool, or it could be really weird.
I liked it mostly because it's such an odd and abstract concept of a character. Like, I don't think we've ever gotten that, like, sort of style of a background character origin call to action, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, for this character before, and I thought it was super unique and interesting.
It's a cool concept, but
I see it has a potential concept. It has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And it has really not much substance to what now.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. I mean, like,
good build-up.
It does...
Yeah.
This is like that's like the opening of a character, really, is like, here's what they were, here's what they are now, and here's what they do, instead of just, she's just a bird now.
Yeah, and that's something that I really want to see this person touch on and expand further. And it's not a typical, good OC that we always bring on, but I still wanted to give this pony, or Ponix, a little bit of praise on it, because it just looks cool, and I like it. Well, the anatomy is a little janky because you're trying to make something new and original that not a lot of people have been trying to do. I think if it had a body style like a griffin, so to speak, it would make a little bit more sense anatomy-wise, but I like it.
definitely has some chance to it. It like I said, this thing has a lot of potential. I just don't know where it's going.
Yeah. One thing I'm sort of wondering is like now that she's this like Ponix, like Phoenix pony hybrid thing, does it say that she'll live forever and she's actually like she's immortal now?
It doesn't mention.
Because I mean, okay, because that's one thing. It's like, I mean, it sounds like if since the reason that that Moon Glimmer like did this in the first place was to have her come back from basically the dead, it seems like she's gonna live forever. I would touch on that because that could be a very, very important character aspect of having to watch everyone you know and love like over time die, and how that changes how you like see yourself, and over time losing identity of who you really are, especially since you're no longer even the species that you were.
True, and also she will age with them. Phoenixes aren't.
They age, but then as soon as she dies, she's just going to be reborn again, and then she's going to restart the process again. So,
and that's going to completely fuck with her memory, because aging fucks with your memory hardcore.
Well, I don't know. This is a phoenix we're talking about here. Phoenixes are mythical
It's kind of
creature.
weird, and that's where one other place where I'd like to see them sort of give their opinion on how those types of things would work, how like the whole rebirthing concept of the phoenix would work in relation to this pony, and how that'll affect.
Again, I see a lot of potential in this character. What they could do with it, like if you wanted to write a fan fiction about it, you totally could, and it could be like, you know, taking the thing from like a couple different superhero movies or something like that, or even I don't know. There's a lot of potential in this. It's just I would like to see them actually, you know, take that into account.
So Moon Glimmer brewed a potion, and then she lost her magical ability because the spell from the potion was so intense.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit strange.
That is a bit janky in the story.
And that's, I mean, if this is just somehow, I don't know. It's very strange. And I
mean, it'd be kind of cool if like it was in some fan fiction where she tries brewing this potion, but then she was struck down for her hubris for trying to create basically an immortal being. Which would be kind of interesting, and that she was like basically being punished for her hubris.
Crimes against equinity,
I guess.
Or maybe you shouldn't mention that she lost her magic, because that doesn't make any sense.
It definitely is one of the ponies that I think need to be rounded out the most out of any of the good OCs that I've ever brought on. But I still wanted to highlight this pony because I think it's doing something right conceptually. Just it needs a little bit more on the back end and where this character is going. Like I said at the beginning, it's like it feels like the start of like a superhero story or some shit like that. Go on with that. Yes. Make something more out of it. I think that this is at the start of this character's like real like thing. Like it's about to do something, but it's hard to tell what that thing is. So